Ron, are you there?
I'm here. He's muted right now, so it looks like he.
Okay, there we go. Can you guys hear me now?
There you go. Now I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I think I got muted there. Thanks, guys, for everybody for showing. Jennifer, thank you guys so much for inviting us. We're really glad to be here and really glad to help out. So what we want to do today is go over how some mobile marketers are making $1 million or more a year promoting pay-per-call offers. Really what we're going to do is just go over an overview of pay-per-call and some of the things that you should look for when looking for pay-per-call offers. So the first thing we want to bring up, and my screen is not going to the next slide. There it goes. What we're going to cover on this webinar is an overview of how pay-per-call works, how to select a pay-per-call offer, how to start making money with mobile pay-per-call, and one of the most important things is how to get inside the mind of your customer, which will really, really help you guys start promoting pay-per-call and making money. So our definition of pay-per-call is pretty easy. There's two parties on the phone call. One party is calling, which is the consumer, your customer, and the other is answering, which is the company providing the service. So again, the advertiser is paying for a qualified call that goes over a time duration. So typically when you're looking for pay-per-call offers, they're going to have a qualifying time duration. So in order for it to be a commissionable sale for you, it may be a 90-second duration or 2-minute duration or even a 60-second duration. And then the affiliate, the publisher, which is you, that's getting paid to generate a qualified phone call that goes over that time duration. What makes pay-per-call so easy is a lot of times, typically, you don't even need a website or a list or an email list or anything else. You don't need a big budget. You can start small and work up. You don't need to sell anything. The advertiser's there to really sell the product. Your job is to generate a good quality phone call to the advertiser. You can work from anywhere. You can work from by your pool, your patio, in the comfort of your own home. So it's really, really nice. It's simple to drive phone calls via mobile advertising, local advertising, and more. So with the mobile, you can target local stuff, you can target national stuff, and we'll get into that a lot more. And typically, there's little or no competition in a lot of areas. Also, people feel better and more secure about making a phone call. So what we found out by doing this over the years is a lot more people are willing to make a phone call than put all their personal information on like a lead form. So a lot of people would rather just pick up that phone and talk to someone. So for an example, auto insurance. They'd rather pick up the phone and talk to someone, kind of explain their situation, what their needs are, instead of putting their name, their phone number, their address, anything on this big, long form and have someone calling them back. And it's an industry where web affiliate marketing was about 8 years ago. So, I mean, I know this is a very kind of basic overview, but before we go into it, is there any questions that anyone has so far?
If you guys have any questions, just type them in the question box and we can answer them. So everybody can hear us, right? So maybe just type yes in the answer box and say you can hear us. All right, fantastic, Bradley.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure everybody can hear us. Perfect. The first, kind of getting into it, I mean, here's really the power of pay-per-call. As you can see in the screenshot, one affiliate did 7,483 inbound phone calls and did $11,883 in one day. This is just on one offer. This isn't always necessarily typical, but I see a lot of people doing $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 a day on just one single pay-per-call offer. So mobile is really a wave of the future, and right now is a great time to be involved in it as it's taken off. But you can do very, very well promoting pay-per-call offers. There's quite a few different methods of driving the pay-per-call traffic. The first one is one that's kind of a preferred source on our side, but it's paid mobile search using WAP and smartphones. We'll go into those just a little bit more here and show you the difference and kind of give you a breakdown of the demographic and the people using them. But also people use mobile display. They use mobile websites with SEO, mobile apps. One of the main things, though, when you're looking at promoting a pay-per-call is it's very, very important to check the campaign details and descriptions to see what promotional methods are allowed. When you're getting into it and selecting offers, there's going to be some offers that only want mobile search. There's going to be some offers that only allow display. So when you're looking at a campaign, it's very, very important to check out the details and description of the offer. By getting into a little bit more, paid search is really, really the way we've seen a lot of publishers be successful. And there's two types of paid search. The first one is WAP phones. WAP phones, or we call them kind of the older phones a little bit. They're really, really good, and I mean, there's not as much traffic on them, and they're a little bit more basic. I mean, as you can see from the screens, you can only put a certain amount of information in here. So, for an example, someone's looking for nursing. The ad says degree in nursing, free consultation, and a phone number. So there's not a lot of information that you can put in there, but the benefits of a WAP phone is typically they convert a lot higher. Your cost per click is typically a lot less expensive. Also, they convert better, but there really isn't as much traffic, but there still is traffic there, and it's a great way to get started. With the WAP phones, you don't need a landing page, you don't need a website. You can post the ads and go. So it's a great way to get started. The next one is what the ads look like on a smartphone. As you can see on the smartphones, you can get a lot more detailed in your search. You can narrow your potential customer down. There is so much more traffic on the smartphones. There really is. But smartphones can sometimes be a little bit more expensive. So when you're diving into your keyword research, it's going to be important. But as you can see on the screen, for example, if we take the one in the middle with Google, someone's searching for satellite TV. You can add a click-to-call extension and tell a little bit more about it. As you can see, there's Dish Network Satellite, choose from 5 packages. You can put a little bit more about the offer and really target your customer a little bit better. And before we kind of get into the next slide, is there any questions on what the difference between like a WAP phone is compared to a smartphone and how to target customers? Or we'd definitely like to hear some questions from people if there is any.
How many people actually use those WAP phones anymore?
Justin, you're a little bit more in tune with the WAP phones. What would you say the percentage is?
It was, you know, significant. Just a couple years ago, it was significantly a huge amount of the population were still using the WAP phones. I would say it's definitely falling rapidly of the amount of people using those phones, and they're not real active users of web on those phones, and that's kind of why it makes a high conversion rate. So there is still thousands, I mean hundreds of thousands of impressions daily served on those phones, but the frequent user and the smartphone user is just much more in tune with what's going on, and so they're doing much more searching and clicking on the phone numbers than the WAP users. If I had to take a guess right now, I'd say probably you're still looking at 40 to 50% of the population still use WAP phones, and where the shift is the demographic. People, I don't want to say old people, but people that are older tend to hang on to those phones because they don't want to touch a screen. They're not comfortable with that. They're comfortable with buttons that do one function and that's it. They want to know how to dial a phone number and push, you know, the send button like they used to have. So it's still a significant portion of the population are still on WAP phones.
The WAP phones are still like the old flip phones, the old style, whatever.
Yeah. It's basically the way Google and Yahoo and Bing to differentiate between what a smartphone and non-phone. Anything that's on an Android operating system and any iPhone are considered smartphones. But a lot of your BlackBerries, a lot of your Nokias, all of these older phones that still have internet, they consider those to be non-smartphones just because they don't have a full internet browser on them. So I kind of group, or I should say Google and Bing and those guys group those phones. Any phone that has a lower, they don't have full web capability, meaning that they don't have like a full web browser on the phone. They have kind of a more generic web browser. The WAP term comes from Wireless Access Protocol, and it's not a full HTML, not to get dive too deep into the technical portion of it, but it's the way the phone communicates with the servers. They just don't have a full browser on their phone. So it's still a lot of the phones are considered WAP phones.
Great question. Is there any more questions before you kind of move on, or if you have some questions from smartphones or a little bit more, we'd love to basically make sure everybody's questions are answered.
I think Mark asked about the WAP and smartphone. Hopefully I answered your question on that, Mark.
And we can come back to this too. If you guys think of any more questions in the meantime, please ask away. The chat box is there, and Justin is one of the pioneers of PayPerCall. So any questions you have, please ask away. One thing we really look at, and you should be really looking at when you're looking to find an offer to run on PayPerCall, are these following things. I mean, they're very important to make a profitable campaign. The first thing you want to look at is what the price is, what the payout you're going to get for that particular phone call. Once you get into it more and start doing your keyword research, the pricing and what testing is going to come into play. So you want to find a good payout that's going to work with the source of traffic that you have. Timing. When's the call center open? Is it a limited time frame? Is it 8 to 5 Eastern time, or is it 8 to 12 and then they stop for a little bit and they go 4 to 8? Typically, a lot of the offers out there are like in a call center hours. So we typically see anywhere from like 8 to 8 or 8 to 7 or even 8 to 6. But the price and the timing is one of the things you definitely want to look for. Another area that we really focus on is the geo-targeting, the geographic area. So you'll see offers out there that some of them will be national. They'll cover all 50 states. Some of them may only cover 32 states or 15 states or even 20 states, so there could be state restrictions. The third type is the geographic areas. There's going to be offers out there that they want calls from a certain zip code, or they want calls from a specific city, state, or a certain metropolitan area. Those are good, but those can be harder to promote. On those offers, you really have to dive in and really work on the zip code and stay targeted. So depending on the geographic area, those offers could be really a lot harder to promote compared to other ones. Another thing you want to look at is the product. What service are they offering? Typically, we've seen that products like services like insurances, like travel offers, there's tax offers out there, there's debt consolidation, there's payday loans. So you want to look and really dive into and see what the advertiser is looking for and what that customer is looking for. Once you dive into the product, it's going to be easier to target your customer and find keywords that are relevant to their particular product. One thing we recommend is once you start a new offer is really go into the website of the company. What the website of the company is provide many services that you may not have seen. So one of the best examples and the easiest examples I can give to you is like we used the dish satellite a little bit earlier, but some of the satellite providers, it may be like a cable, phone, satellite area. So by going to someone's website, you can typically find quite a few keywords. And they may offer like VoIP, or they may offer high-speed internet along with it. They may offer certain sports packages. And you'd be surprised on what customers are searching for, especially on the sports packages and the TV offers. Another thing you want to do is look at the IVR, the interactive voice response system. most pay-per-call offers that you're going to run into, they're going to have an IVR in there. The reason companies use an IVR is they want to target a specific customer and they want to field calls in from that particular customer. So a good way to check an offer before you run it is do a test call. See how many steps are in the IVR. So we can use kind of auto insurance for an example. An IVR may ask the customer if they're insured, if they're uninsured, and it may disqualify them if they're uninsured, or they may be looking for someone who has a certain credit aspect, certain credit rating. There's a lot that can go into IVR. So one thing you want to do before selecting an offer is really look into the IVR. One of the most important things also is duration for payout. Kind of going back before, I know we talked about the customers having, your advertiser having a duration. The reason why they do a duration is they want to be able to get a chance to make sure that they have a qualified customer. So for an example, let's use health insurance for an example. When you're looking at an offer, you may see one health insurance offer that offers like a $14 payout for an example. But the duration of the call is only 60 seconds. Then there may be another health insurance offer out there that pays a lot more, $20, $21, $22, but you also want to look at the duration. When you're looking at the duration, it could be a 2-minute duration, it could be a 3-minute duration, which gives their representative more time to qualify that call and make sure it's a caller. So sometimes you will see a lot higher payout for a lot higher duration, but it doesn't always mean that the higher payout is going to give you the best conversion, because you want to look at conversion rates too. Prime example, again, the health insurance offer. You may send in 4 calls to the offer that has a 60-second duration, and you may get 2 conversions out of there, which would be $28 compared to if you sent 4 calls into the higher paying offer with a 2 or 3-minute duration and only got 1 conversion. So duration is really something you want to consider when you're promoting a product. All these are very important, so again, when you're choosing offers, really take these into consideration. One of the most important things, and I'll go through this and I'll also let Justin talk on this because he's really a pro on this, but you really want to think like your prospect. This can really make or break a campaign for you. It can also make the difference on finding keywords that are convert and keywords with volume. So when it comes to writing your ads, it's very important to think like your prospect, and you really want to ask these questions to yourself. Who are they? What are they doing at the moment? What are they looking for? What kind of questions will they have? When do they need this service? And why should they call? So kind of look at it like this. You have a customer who's on the phone, on the couch watching TV, and they're flipping through channels and they can't find a good channel that they want to watch. So they're considering doing like a dish TV or a satellite provider. So that customer is going to be someone who's sitting on the couch who wants more channels, he wants a sports package, he wants, more of a variety. So when would this person want the service? Well, they're probably going to want it now. So you're going to want to look at your prospect and really set up your campaigns based on what the customer is looking for. Justin, do you want to expand on that a little bit? You're phenomenal at this.
It's just, this is where you're really getting inside the head of your customer, really understanding what it is, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and when they're doing it. And when you start to really understand what a customer is thinking at the time that they're trying to make a decision to make a phone call, and especially in PayPerCall, because that's what you want them to do, what is the service that they're looking for, and when do they look for that service? So I think you used some key words there that I probably would have taken out of what you just said, which is they're looking for a sports package. So they might not type in, because everybody thinks that the word direct, when you're looking at keywords, you might look at the word direct TV as, oh, okay, I need to be bidding on the word direct TV because that's what everybody's typing in. But in reality, they might be typing in their favorite sports team TV, or they might be looking for a game, a specific game, or a sports package for that. And so there's all kinds of different stuff out there that relates for that user. So when we wrote this portion of the slides, it's really understanding what it is that they're looking for, because it's not always the first thing that you think of. Okay, they just want TV or they just want satellite. They don't really want satellite. They want to see their favorite show. So they're going to type in the name of their show and find out how to get that show and on their TV, and maybe that is through DirecTV, or maybe that's through Cox Internet or Cox Cable or whatever service provider is in your area. So that's kind of what I mean by really thinking like your prospect, really backing up and going, what is it that they're actually looking for right before they actually hit that call button on the phone.
Mark actually kind of has a question about that, about testing the PayPerCall, reaching an audience over 40. If they're having a tough time with that, and are there specific verticals that work best on mobile, but definitely targeting somebody over 40?
Sure, Ron, you want me to take that, or you want to?
I can take it, and then you can expand on it. With targeting the older crowds, it is something that's possible, but typically, especially like on the smartphones, we typically, and correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, but we typically see the average user of a smartphone typically between 24 and 40. So when you're targeting those, it's a little bit harder. What were you going to say, Justin?
I said, yeah, you're right.
I was just going to say that you put me into that older crowd then.
and like I said, it doesn't mean that, people in the older crowd, sorry, Jennifer, but it doesn't mean people in the older crowd don't search for it, but let me kind of dive into that a little bit more. For an example, I've seen like diabetes offers out there, and like diabetes, like the instant supplies, they target someone who's 65 years and older. A lot of people, in that age demographic, they're not really searching on your phones. It doesn't mean that they don't do it. It's just not as likely. So, again, thinking like the customer, you do have, when you're going into the 40s and the 50s and stuff, you still do have a lot of people who are searching, but the main demographic for smartphones is typically between 24 to 40, but it really kind of depends on the offer that you're targeting and how successful it'll be, and really thinking like that customer.
Yeah, and I don't like to use the word old. Anybody over 40 is, they're getting, they're elderly. They're kind of like, but they're already set in their ways. That's the big thing, is they've never been accustomed to using a cell phone for finding things. So when you ask them to find something, what do where would they go look for that? Well, somebody that's over 40 has been used to looking in a phone book most of their life. And so the concept of going to your computer or even going to a cell phone instantly to find something for them is new. And so it's not that they're not even using a phone, it's that they don't use the phone to its capabilities typically. The young people, they don't even know what a phone book is. And so when they have a question and they want a solution to their problem, they don't ever leave their phone anywhere. It's next to them at all points, and it never leaves their side. They're on Facebook and they're text messaging, and they show us, they show the older crowd how to use the thing, and so they know how to use it so well that they know how to find exactly what they're looking for. So that's why, to your point here, Mark, you don't really want to target the offers that are 40 and over. One is they're not really, your traffic is limited. Two is, you're not going to find those people doing their final research here. You're going to find those offers somewhere else. You want to focus on those offers that are younger, and that's that, education offer. People who are looking to get that higher education. People who are looking for auto insurance. That's in that middle age demographic. 25 all the way up to 40. Somebody who's over 40 is typically sat with their agent on the corner, and they don't really think about using their phone to search for an auto insurance quote. So if you're going to stick to mobile and you're going to stick to PayPerCall and match the two together, which is how I've made over $1 million in PayPerCall, then that's what you really want to pay attention to, is the demographic of the phone user. I hope that answers your question, Mark.
That's a great question, though, Mark. Great question.
Yeah, great. Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any more questions, thinking like a prospect that we can answer now? See any? Okay, let's move on. Some of the big takeaways that we want to provide, and these are really keys to making your ads go a long time and also making commissions on a long term. A lot of times we like to help people out and say it's not always making about that quick buck, because I mean a lot of people, they can make a quick thing, they can make $2,000-3,000 in one day, but if they're not providing value to the customer, they're only going to be able to make it one day. So we try to help people and teach people that it's not always about making that quick $2,000 to $3,000 for one day. It's about making that $2,000 to $3,000 for years and years and years. So one of the big takeaways that we always like to help any potential affiliate with or publisher who's getting into PayPerCall is really providing value. Try to provide a good phone call to the advertiser. The better phone call you can get into the advertiser, the better chance it's going to be to convert. By providing better phone calls in there and targeting those customers, you're going to get a lot more conversions and make a lot more commissions. Another thing is get to know your account rep, get to know the affiliate manager. They're going to have a lot of really good insights on what is working, what's not working. Just ask away if you have any questions on offer, because let me give you a prime example. Let's look at education. When you're looking at education stuff, there's a lot of educations out there, but you really want to look at what degree programs they provide. By finding out the degree programs that they provide, you can really provide a better value call. So if you have questions on an offer, my suggestion is really reach out to the account rep and the affiliate manager and ask questions. They should really be able to help you out, target down what your advertiser is looking for, allowing you to make a very good, solid call. Providing good phone calls to the advertiser will help you make a long relationship to the partners you're working with, as well as long-time commissions, kind of what we just talked about. Quality of the phone call is very important. Many partners will reward you if you can give them good traffic. Not all the callers are going to turn into prospects for the company, but some should. Really, you're trying to provide, you want to provide not only the advertiser with a good experience, but also the phone user with a good experience. If you can provide the customer with a good phone experience, it's really going to turn into a good call. So providing value is really one of the keys. And with a lot of what we call account reps or affiliate managers and stuff, if you're providing really good traffic to them, they may need some help on some real nice new exclusive offers and stuff. And you know what? You're providing good value to them. They're going to reach out to you. Or they may say, hey, can you provide us more traffic? And you might say, well, I can, but they might be willing to give a little bit of a small increase or something to help you provide traffic. So by providing value, it's really only going to help you in the long term, and it's really going to help you have long-lasting campaigns that are going to make you a lot of money. Here's how a lot of publishers are making it big. They're spending numerous hours doing keyword research. For a typical campaign, we can just use health insurance as an example. A lot of publishers that are making it big, they're spending anywhere from 8 to 10 to 12 to 14 hours on keyword research. And by doing that keyword research, they're able to get a really good listing of good keywords, and then they take those keywords and they test them. They optimize their campaigns. They're looking at their landing pages. They're working on a lot of other stuff. So sometimes it does take a little bit of time to get a good running campaign, and it does take a lot of hours going into it. But once you get it down, I mean, a lot of times you can set the campaigns on cruise control and let them run and make you money for a long time. So there is a lot of research that goes into it, but the more you put into it, the more you can make out of it, and the more you can make out of it for the long term. And again, really, it's thinking like the prospect. The more you can get inside the prospect's head, the more you're going to be able to find keywords that relate, that'll provide good quality phone calls, that'll have more global monthly searches. I mean, it takes a lot of time and effort, but once you get it down, it's very, very rewarding. It really is. So at this time, Jennifer, what we'd like to do is kind of open it up to a little bit of a question and answer session.
Sure.
I do have some training tools that we'll share with just in a little bit, but I wanted to kind of open the session up to a little bit more of question and answers and really answer any questions that people have and help them out.
Yeah, and guys, if you can type in the box or whatever where you're at, what you've done, what you've worked on, what's maybe successes for you if you want, or what you're struggling with, where you're struggling at. We're here to help. I mean, you've got combined experience of millions of dollars in running offers, so I mean, this is it. This is where you get to ask your questions of guys that have done that, been in the trenches and done it. So ask away. The other thing is on this how publishers are making it big. I think one of the big things here, and to your testing keywords and optimizing campaigns, testing is a huge portion of it, and testing can be expensive. And some people call it losing money, but what you're really doing is you're gaining knowledge by buying traffic from these people and sending it to offers. And over time, that knowledge becomes powerful because you know what keywords do send phone calls and you know what keywords don't send phone calls. So testing is huge. Always be testing different ads, testing different ways, testing different traffic sources. I think that's a big piece of it.
I agree.
Do you see the question from Rick?
Yeah. Rick says, I'm a member of Mobile Money Bandit. It was recently released again by another publisher. Is this the same course you had before? Is there some new material in it? No, we just re-released the course. We just opened it back up. The content is still really relevant in the course. So, but if you already are a member of it, there's nothing new in it as of right now. I haven't put anything new in it. So.
Okay.
Definitely, Rick. I mean, if you've been setting up offers, Rick's question was, I asked to find out if I should re-go through everything. Rick, if I don't know where you're at, like in your, if you're doing PayPerCall live right now, or if you're not, but if you're struggling or anything, or if you're still trying to figure it all out, I would absolutely say go through it again. I really walk through every single aspect of what I've done to set up those PayPerCall ads and how to find out which keywords are working, which keywords are not working, and really dive into that. Keyword research is really key when you're doing search engine marketing. Rick said he's not live right now, but thinking about getting his offers going again. And I may have
last question you asked, Rick, we can probably go over that offline or something, but we want to make sure we can answer all the questions relating to PayPerCall.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
How long does it really take to get a campaign going, like average time, would you say?
From start to finish, setting up a campaign, doing your research. The research is a huge portion of it. Really understanding, because it's easy to find the keywords like, education or get a degree or something like that, but those are going to be your really expensive keywords for any school that's out there. So to do research, you really have to understand, one, what the advertiser is looking for. They're not looking for somebody who is just looking for education. Typically, these schools or these companies are looking for a very particular person or a very particular degree. So, if it's I'll use criminal justice as an example. If a school is looking for somebody who, or the school has a criminal justice program and they're looking for somebody who's doing criminal justice or wants to get a criminal justice degree. What does a criminal justice degree provide to the end user? Nobody, there's probably people that search for a criminal justice degree, but what they really want is they want to become a police officer or a SWAT team member, or they want to become a paralegal or any of those pieces that fit inside of that criminal justice degree. So those are kind of going to be your less expensive keywords. Become a police officer is going to be less expensive than the word get a criminal justice degree. So understanding what it is that the end user is looking for, then being able to find those keywords that end user is wanting. All of that takes a good several hours of just, depending on how familiar you are with the market beforehand. If you're just starting out, you really need to do some deep research. If you already know a little bit about the market, then it's about just doing a little bit of research and finding out that stuff. And then from that point, once you have a keyword list and some of that information, you just kind of go in. If you've never experienced with Google AdWords or Ad Center or any of these other places, it takes time to learn that. But typically, if you already have that experience, so it's kind of like, it's one of those questions I've got to answer with it depends. It depends on how much experience you have already, but from very start, like if you're a new person to set up your very first campaign, it's going to be probably 2 days, because you've got a lot to learn and a lot of curves to kind of get over. If you're already experienced with search engine marketing and you've already set up AdWords campaigns and you know the market a little bit, I would say it's probably a 4 to 6 hours of solid, just making sure you get the right stuff and making sure you set the campaign up right, making sure you get the right hours for the call center, and put all of that together. So it takes some time. But to give you, to not discourage anybody from, when you spend that 6 hours setting up a campaign and over the next course of 2 weeks you optimize it, I've had campaigns that make me money, $100, $200 a day for years off of setting them up with only a couple hours of work up front. Granted, it takes some time, and maybe once a month I kind of have to optimize them a little bit and spend like a couple hours with them, but for a couple hours of work, I'm bringing home $6,000. It's pretty easy to justify those couple of hours of worth of work.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yes, I was just trying to throw out some general questions here.
Yeah, no, that's good. Ara said, I am new to PayPerCall. Where does one find the offers, and what is the best places to advertise? If you're just new at this, I always suggest, and I suggest this in the Mobile Money Bandit course also, is to really get started in MSN Ad Center, and because it's so inexpensive to buy keywords, you're not going to make a ton of money there. But if you start on WAP, Ad Center, the cost is relatively inexpensive, and you can get in there and start getting a small amount of traffic and get your hands wet as far as getting set up. As far as finding offers, we own MobileFused. We work for MobileFused, which is a ad network that does mostly mobile pay-per-call. And so you can go to MobileFused.com and sign up there under Publisher. But there's a list of mobile ad networks out there, and I think, Jennifer, you could probably.
So yeah, Jennifer, doesn't your offer inspector actually have quite a few of the offers out there?
Offer Inspector has a lot on there, so you can search that for them. And it'll link you right to the network.
Yeah, so you can go straight to Offer Inspector and look for, just type in the word PayPerCall, and you should be able to find all the PayPerCall offers from multiple different networks. And you can sign up with any of those networks. That'll get you started. Mark says, with Google's new model of not allowing you to segment mobile, how are you getting through not sending traffic to desktop? So I actually just made a video of that, and the editor is going through it right now. We're going to be publishing that here shortly. And so, but to answer your question, Google does give you the option of upping your bid on mobile, and you're able to up that up at 300%, which is actually brings your bid to 4 times whatever you're bidding on desktop. So you're able to do that, and you're able to get very few desktop impressions and clicks while still maintaining a lot of mobile clicks. But that's only for smartphone on AdWords. If you go over to WAP with Ad Center, you don't have to worry about it. If you still do WAP on Google AdWords, that's separate also, so you don't have to worry about adding on desktop. only when you're doing smartphones do you have to have that separation. But you do need a website, and so what I suggest is still creating a website and creating a landing page. I do nice, simple, easy blogs, and nothing fantastic. But then you just put your phone number, put a main phone number, like pull a phone number from the network, and put that on your website, so that if you do get that random desktop click traffic, at least they have a phone number to call. Michael said, when you target your ads, do you target specific cities with a particular offer, or do you just target everywhere the offer is available? Go ahead, Ron. You can answer that one.
Yeah, great question, actually. There's a couple different ways to do it, Michael. When you're looking at the ad, typically you can target specific cities, and when you target those specific cities, usually you can get your clicks for less expensive. The only difference is there's usually not as much traffic. So take for an example, again, just auto insurance. So if you can target the whole U.S., you're going to get a lot more traffic to those particular keywords. They may be a little bit more expensive, but you're going to get a lot more volume. But by targeting into specific cities, a lot of the major cities still have traffic on them, and a lot of times you can get your bid prices, your clicks, a lot less expensive, which can help out a lot too. That's a very good question. So to kind of answer a little bit more, some offers, it really depends on the states. If it's all U.S., typically you're going to get more traffic by targeting the whole U.S., but sometimes you do have to target to a city level or a state level or a zip code depending on the offer, but targeting specific cities is a great way to get some clicks at a lot less expensive price too. Very good question. Okay, good. I was just about to ask if that answers your question. Very good. Do we have any more questions?
Rick wants to know how difficult it is to get approved.
How hard is it to get for offers in the MobileFused? Again, this is actually a great question, Rick. I like this question, and this really goes back into providing the quality call that we went over before. If you're providing really good quality calls and you've been with them for a long time, it's very, very easy. And this is not necessarily just for MobileFused, but kind of when you look at it anywhere, the more quality you provide, the easier it is to get approved for offers. It really depends on the offer. I mean, some of them are a little bit, the advertisers are a little bit more, I don't know, I mean, to say it good, I mean, they're a little bit more particular. So sometimes by running traffic on some other offers and showing good quality, it's really going to make it easy for you to get approved on other offers. And I think that goes along with a lot of the other networks. I mean, you show good quality, it should be very, very easy to get approved for other campaigns.
Any other questions from anyone?
Let's see. It could be, Rick, it could be anywhere from 1 hour up to 24 to 48 hours. It really depends. So if you ever have a question on any of that stuff, just reach out to like your account representative and they can help you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right.
Well, before we go, I want to kind of send you to a couple different links, and then also Jennifer, I'm sure a lot of people know because they joined the webinar, but do you guys have any newer, exciting, or any other stuff coming out on Offer Inspector?
Right now, we just added a bunch of new networks, so definitely make sure you check it out. And it's updated every day with new offers, and always looking. There's always new blogs, new interviews with people, fantastic people like Ron learning about new things. And this will definitely be up, the video from today. The link will be on Offer Inspector probably in the next couple of days if anybody wants to re-listen again.
Well, cool. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you everybody for showing, and really thank you for inviting us, Jennifer. We really appreciate it. It's awesome, and here's a couple more links to some training videos if you want to get a little bit more in detail. And yeah, thanks for inviting us, Jennifer. Thanks everybody for taking the time out of your day and joining us.
I definitely appreciate your time and you answering everybody's questions as well.
Well, fantastic. Thank you. And thanks for inviting us. Appreciate it. And thanks, everybody, for showing up.
All right.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Thanks.